Hi guys, welcome to Sports Work Podcast. This is Sports Works Podcast. All right,
It's okay.
We're good. We're good.
Just keep.
Yeah.
all right, guys. Welcome to Sports Works Podcast. This is our first segment here, our first show. My name is Jesus, aka El Scorcho. I'm one of the handicappers here at the house and the crib at Sports Works Podcast, and we're going to be making our picks this week for Week 2 in the NFL. I'm going to throw it now to Armando so he can introduce himself.
All right, I'm Big Mondo, aka the Phenom. You gotta trust my picks. You're gonna see some heat on this card. Just letting you know.
All right, my name's Joey. Talk about our picks and see who's gonna win this week of the NFL Week 2.
All right, guys. So we're going to kick off with our cards again. Keep in mind that our spreads may be a little different than yours. We're going by a local bookie and his card, and the spreads are pretty close to what they have at the casinos. Again, before you guys make your bets, put them in. Make sure you guys double check the spread point. It could vary from a half a point to a point or even more. That's all we got to say about that. We're going to kick off with game number 1. The Tennessee Titans against the Colts. Colts will be visiting Tennessee, and Tennessee is favored by 3.5. The over and under is 44.5. This will be a game that's going to be aired out on CBS. Armando, any thoughts on that game?
Honestly, if I'm picking this game, I'm taking the spread. I'm gonna have to go with the Titans just because of what I saw last week against Cleveland. Cleveland, on paper, they're supposed to have an explosive, offense, and the Titans basically shut them down, especially in that second half. Very strong defense and a good run game against the Colts team that doesn't have, obviously, Andrew Luck. In my opinion, I'm taking the Titans minus 3.5.
I think for me, I'm gonna take the over 44.5. Like you said, the Titans did score a lot last week against the Browns, but the Colts also scored 24 last week against the Chargers in overtime. So that's for sure something to look after. If I were to pick a team, I think I would go with the Titans as well. I think they just look better.
So just to touch up on those picks by both of you handicappers, both of you guys like Tennessee and giving away 3.5 points.
Yes.
Yes.
Tennessee's at home. I understand that the betting public always remembers what happened last week. Again, we're handicappers. We're out here trying to get the cheddar, trying to get the money. I really, really like Indianapolis in this position right now. They're on the road, second game on the road. Keep in mind, last week they played at San Diego. I take that back. At LA, I'm so used to saying with the San Diego Chargers.
Yeah.
They played against LA and they put up a hell of a fight. Jacoby Brissett is not a bad quarterback. He's very he's a competitor. You know, he keeps you in the games. They have a very balanced attack as far as the running game goes. A standout defense, and they have weapons out there on the receiving ends as well. I like Indianapolis to cover this game. I'm not going to go too much into depth on why I do like them, but look, if you're able to catch 3.5 like you're able to catch on my card right now, take those 3.5 and run with that money. Okay, I really like that game. There is no way they're not showing Indianapolis any kind of respect at all. Take Indy and the 3.5. I would shy away from the over and under on this game, although I do have a hunch if I was forced to make a pick, a move on that line, I would take the over. I like the over. I think it's going to be a high scoring affair. I just don't see how Tennessee is trustworthy of going with them on back-to-back picks. Now, I take Tennessee on the road as an underdog, but if they're home and favorites, they're always letting you down. Again, they'll scorch your pick. Colts.
Yeah, I like the over too because I do agree that the Colts do have a lot of weapons, and Titans I think only they have is Derrick Henry, and that's pretty much it. So that'll be pretty hard.
All right, so there's our pick for game number 1. Game number 2, Chargers against the Detroit Lions. Detroit will be at home in this one. This affair has the Lions being favored by 2.5 points, over and under the 47.5. I think it's a very close line. Mondo, what do you think about that?
Right off the bat, the Phenom sees an easy pick here. I'm taking the Chargers all day, minus 2.5. Last week, the Lions could barely hold on against rookie quarterback Kyler Murray. And obviously, the Chargers have a high-power offense behind Eckler. Eckler played really good last week, 3 touchdowns. I see the Chargers rolling over the Lions.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take the Chargers on this one as well. Pick off what Mando said. The Lions barely played like against the Cardinals. That was too close of a game, especially against a rookie quarterback, and none of that stuff should have happened for the Lions. So I would take the Chargers on this one.
Mm-hmm.
So both of you guys are taking the Chargers.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna jump on that boat with you guys and ride that boat with you guys. I think the Chargers are the pick here, especially at what we're getting here in our cards. Our cards, I mean, you're getting a gift, 2.5 points. Yep. All they need to do is flat out win that game by a field goal, and that'll cover the spread. So I'm with you guys. The Chargers is a given. There's no way Detroit is trustworthy of my money right now. They fucked up last week playing against an Arizona team that has nothing. They let them come back. They should have put their foot down on their necks and just stopped them from breathing. They allowed them back into the game, and they almost lost that game. It ended up being a push, a tie. But on the betting sports, they lost that game. Mm-hmm. All right. So moving right along, guys. Now we're going to go ahead and look at the Bills, the Buffalo Bills visiting the New York Giants. Giants are catching points at home, 2.5, over and under 43.5. Any thoughts on that game, guys?
Honestly, in this game, I'm not looking at either teams. I'm going to go with the safe pick on this. I'm just going to take the under, 43.5. I don't see the Bills or the Giants putting up points after what I saw last week from both teams. I can't really say much about this game, to be honest with you. I don't like this one at all.
I like to go under 43.5, but I think if I were to pick a team, it would be the Giants. I think the Giants just overall have a better team than the Buffalo Bills. They didn't. Yet last week's game was kind of like low scoring for the first 2 quarters, and then halfway towards the end of the third, that's when they started coming back. And I think the Giants should just come out at home and just take the dub.
Well, that's a tough one. I don't like the Giants. I've never liked the Giants, whether at home or on the road. I think they're a very unreliable team. You're also looking at Buffalo. Buffalo's an up-and-comer. They don't sleep on them. They have young talent on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. If I'm to touch this game, I don't like the side. I don't like the Giants at home. Even though they're catching 2.5, it's tempting. But I'm going to resist. I'm going to go ahead and hold back from making a pick on either side. I am going to go with the under on this game. Under 43.5. I just don't see Buffalo blowing out the Giants, and I don't see New York Giants putting up a whole lot of points. Their main goal is to it's going to be to run the ball, try to control the clock, in that kind of sense. And I see this as a low-scoring affair. So I'm going to go with the under on this, under 43.5. And again, just keep in mind these odds change depending on your sports book that you're betting on. Like right now, I'm looking at this sports book online, and you have Buffalo -2. That's a given if you're playing according to what the sports book here is online. But if not, if you're playing our card 2.5, you can't go wrong with the under. I don't like a side again. So now we're going to go ahead and move to our other game, which will be Baltimore at home against the Arizona Cardinals. Now, this is a juicy matchup, guys. The Cardinals are catching 13.5 points. Unheard of in the NFL. Anytime you see double digits, rule of thumb is take the points and run with the money. But Arizona is so bad, and they have Vance Joseph. Let's not forget, as their defensive coordinator. I just don't trust them. Baltimore's riding high right now. They come off a high, very, very spectacular win against Miami. Can they do it again? Who knows? So again, right now the line is Cardinals plus 13.5, and the over and under sits at 47.5. Armando, what do you think about this game?
All right off the bat, I just gotta say, Vance Joseph is a Hall of Fame coach, so you gotta respect that defense. All jokes aside, I think I'm gonna go ahead and go with the Cardinals on here. 13.5 points. You gotta take the points. That's a lot of points. You saw last week Kyler Murray showed a lot of promise with that offense. They were passing the ball, running the ball with David Johnson. The Ravens, I feel like they're giving them a little bit too much points after what they did to the Dolphins last week, but you got to keep in mind it is the Dolphins who don't really have any players right now, and they all want to be traded out there anyway. So, like I said, I think you just got to go with the Cardinals here, take the points.
And I guess you got to get behind the 13.5 points is tempting. I was going to go ahead and say something, but nah. I think I'm going to let you guys ride it. Go ahead, Joey. What do you have to say about that?
I have to disagree with that. I would pick the Ravens over the Cardinals.
Wow, that's a big balls move. That's a big balls move.
It's
You already took the
crazy,
Ravens.
but
You're giving
then
me 13
you
and a
think
half points,
you
Joe.
say the Ravens played the weak Dolphins,
Mhm.
but the Cardinals played the Lions too, and the
True.
Lions aren't that good of a team either. So it was both weak teams going against each other. You can expect a good game out of two bad teams playing, like we're going to see with the Bills and Giants. I would still go with the Ravens. They put up 59 points last week against, and that's a lot of points. Even for the Patriots last week, they only put 33. But I think Lamar Jackson showed that he's not just a running quarterback. He can also throw the ball, which he did, and I'll take the Ravens on this one.
All right, I think the guys are getting a little carried away right here. Well, Armando's a little more realistic. He's taking the 13 and a half points. I can see why. Baltimore, like I said and I mentioned earlier, they're riding high off a fucking impressive win against the Dolphins.
Very impressive.
Now, the Dolphins, let's be honest, they are trash. They are probably the worst team in the NFL right now. I mean, you just got to give them a reason to quit, and they'll quit on you.
As we
With
saw
that
last
said,
Yeah,
I don't like
But they did
I
last week.
don't like Miami at all, and I'm not that impressed with the Ravens. I will definitely be taking the Ravens when I do see them as underdogs because I do see value in that team as an underdog team, but not as a favorite. And not giving away 13 and a half points. I'm not going to touch a side on this game, although the Cardinals are tempting. However, I am going to go ahead and stick with the. I'm going to go with the under again on this game. Under 47 and a half. I just don't see how it can turn into a shootout or any. I mean, Baltimore's defense is still a force to be reckoned with. I will go ahead and stick with the under on this game. My play on this game will be the under 47 and a half. And now moving right along, the New England Patriots will be visiting the Miami Dolphins. And if you thought that spread was juicy, 18 and a half points the Dolphins are catching. 18 points. 18 and a half points the Dolphins are catching. Yes, they're at home. And yes, they're playing the Patriots. I'm going to let you take this one away, Armando. I got to give it a minute here.
All right, so this last game, we talked about the Cardinals, right? I was saying take the points. And this one, I don't think I can take the points for a Dolphins team. 18 and a half points, that's a lot of points. A lot of points. That's, 2 touchdowns, a field goal, and you're still covering.
Very, very valid
yes,
points. Very valid points.
It's ridiculous, but I'm going to go with I'm just going to go with the Patriots, honestly. I was going to touch the over on the game, but I don't see the Dolphins putting any points up, to be honest with you, after what I saw from the Patriots defense. And, of course, we all saw how the Patriots offense was. They got a lot of weapons. And if Antonio Brown plays this week too, another weapon. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Patriots.
I'm taking New England also. Like Mando said, what they performed last week, 33-3 against the Steelers. Dolphins is just, like you said, the worst team in the NFL. They already have players calling for their agents to get traded. That speaks for itself already. And the Patriots they're just too good of a team. They have all these weapons. Antonio Brown. They have Gordon, Edelman. I mean, wouldn't be surprised if Gronk comes out of retirement to join them.
Yep.
So we don't know, but I'll take the Patriots on this game.
Does anybody know what's going on with Antonio Brown?
Well, he practiced today. They're saying they're not gonna, say he's not gonna play on week 2
Because that's also going to be a big
It's
factor.
a big factor.
It's going to be a big
Yeah,
factor,
it
and it's going
is.
to be a big swing in the sportsbook
It is.
world as well. Whether they're going to go up even more than that. Oh yeah,
What's the
I'm
line
looking
right
at the
now?
sportsbook right now at the line online. They're already 19 points favored.
Yeah.
19 points.
So
Jesus
yeah, like
Christ.
we said, the line can change depending on your sports book that you're looking at. But on the card, it's saying 18 and a half, and I think at 18 and a half, you have to take the Patriots.
Yeah, well, at 18 and a half compared to 19, that half a point does make a difference, and I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready to take the Patriots and give away that many points.
Mhm.
They are a very, very, very solid team, and I definitely can't take the Dolphins. I can never back them up this year. They're
Yeah,
a
I agree.
horrible, terrible team. However, if you guys do follow trends the way that I do, Miami always plays
They
the
do.
Patriots hard. at
That
home.
is
do.
correct.
And let's not forget who
last
they have
year,
at quarterback.
They do.
too.
Captain Caveman. That motherfucker can put up points in a hurry. All right, Fitzmagic
Yeah,
last
Fitzmagic.
year.
It's
all right?
magic,
So
my
he can put
guy.
up points. If I'm gonna touch this game, I'm gonna go with the over. And again, I don't know how strongly I feel about that pick, but I will take the over on this game. I think they can both produce more than 47 and a half, which should be an easy cover, I think. So I'm gonna go with the over. Again, now moving right along, the Cowboys visiting Washington. The Redskins are catching 5.5. Washington Redskins at home. Over and under, total of 46.5. Guys,
All right, this one is going to be a little bit of a tricky one because the Redskins did lose their starting running back Geis, but they are going to put in Adrian Peterson to start the game. He was inactive last week. I do think that Adrian Peterson gives them a little bit more of a balanced offense. He's a little bit better running back in my opinion than Geis is at this time. But with that being said, I think I'm still going to take the Cowboys. Minus 5.5. I just feel like the Cowboys' offense is clicking on all cylinders. Dak is playing really good football, and of course you got Zeke in the backfield, and the defense is stout. So I'm gonna have to say Cowboys minus 5.5. If I'm picking for sure pick on this game, I would say take the under. I just feel like the NFC East games are always very low scoring, and they both have pretty solid defenses. So I would take the under, and I would take the Cowboys minus 5.5.
I'm with Jen. I agree with Mando on that one. I like the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys just have a really better team than the Redskins. Although Adrian Peterson is coming for the be the starter for the Redskins. I think Dak Prescott was named NFC Offensive Player of the Week last week. He was 25 for 32 with 405 yards and 4 touchdowns. That's really good. Yeah, they played the Giants, but still, I mean, you can't really defend that. So I'll take the Cowboys on that and the under on 46.5. I think the Redskins do have a pretty all right defense to limit the Cowboys, but yeah, those are my picks.
so who did you take, Mando, in this game?
She took the Cowboys in the under.
Cowboys as well. All right, so there's 2 Cowboys going against the Redskins here. I hate to be that guy. I really do, but I'm gonna be that guy. I'm gonna disagree. I'm gonna disagree with those picks right there. Total lack of respect for the Washington Redskins. Yeah, they're playing with Case Keenum, not a great quarterback, and now their starting running back went down. They're playing at home. Last week they played Philadelphia really, really tough. They had them
in the first half.
They had them against the ropes.
In the first half.
Correct.
I think they just got outcoached, not outplayed, outcoached.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else with a better coach, I think they would have taken that victory. Washington at home, and again, let's not forget this is a divisional game, guys. Divisional game. Divisional games are really, really hard to win. They face each other twice a year. They're very familiar with one another. They know each other very well. I'm gonna take a side here. I really like Washington to cover this number, 5.5. Some of the books have them 5.5, 6. Depends on where you shop. On my card, they're 5.5, and they're good for my money. I'll take them this week. I like Washington. I don't have a say so in the over and the under. I think that's too close of a call. I can see it going either way, but I'm gonna make a play on the Redskins on this.
So do you think it'll be a shootout or?
That's the thing. I don't know. It could be a defensive game. I know Dallas has a stout defense. I know Washington at home plays fucking lights out on defense as well. They can create turnovers. Again, I don't have a clear vision on this total. It could be over. It could be under. But I do see Washington covering the number 5.5. I think it'll come down to a field goal, and I think Washington can take it.
All right.
Next game, guys. So the Texans will be at home against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars are catching 8.5 points. 8.5 points, okay? The over and under is 43.5. Very low number, I think. Go ahead, guys. Take it away. Give me your thoughts on this game.
All right, right off the bat, I don't like either team in this one. I feel like that 8.5 is just, I don't know. I can't really see myself picking the Texans, and you don't know what you have with the Jaguars because they do have a rookie quarterback Minshew in there. He did look good against Kansas City last week, so I don't feel comfortable picking against him just yet because there's too many unknowns. Something that I do know for sure though is both teams have very good defenses. The Saints and Texans played last week, and the Texans had them in check. In my opinion, and they're playing against a weaker offense, so I see this being an under game all day.
Under game?
I see it being an under.
It's a dome game, guys, and you guys are liking the under?
I see the under game. I see the under.
Wow.
I see value in the under. Like I said, don't see value in picking a side, but I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm taking the under on this game.
Yeah, I would agree taking the under on this game. I think the defense last week from the Jaguars was not that good. They let the Chiefs run all over them. I think this week they'll for sure step it up and play a lot better on defense. Offense, I can't really say too much. Nick Foles was hurt. and their rookie quarterback came in. He did, score like 2 touchdowns for them, which was good. But I think Houston also has a better offensive team, and I would take Texans on this game, even though it's 8.5 points. But I would take Houston on that one and go for the under.
All I gotta say is wow, double wow. Again, everybody's impressed with what Houston did last week or just this past Monday. Let's not forget anybody that watched that game or highlights of that game. Watson took a fucking beating. The guy's got no offensive line to give him time to throw the football. He's got great weapons as far as wide receivers go. Um, and I think we're forgetting that Jacksonville's not a bad defense. They're not what they used to be a couple years ago. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But they're still a stout defense, and if anything, they're playing for pride. Now I'll tell you one thing: not a lot of people know about this quarterback, Gardner Minshew. Okay, the guy is a fucking badass. I trust
Yeah.
the mustache. I trust Jacksonville on the road in a hostile environment. You give me 8.5 points, I'm gonna take the mustache. And shout out to my boy Jose, another mustache kind of guy. Hey, listen, take Jacksonville and the 8.5 points, and consider it a fucking free gift from the bookie killer.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the under is probably your safest bet to go, just because the Jaguars. Yeah, I honestly have faith in the Jaguars defense, honestly. So I feel like they're gonna perform well. And like you said, Texans they don't have a good O line, but I mean you never know because at times you just need that 5 seconds to protect them and boom, touchdown right there. So all right, on to the next pick.
All right, guys, the next game, a juicy one indeed. So we got Pittsburgh at home against the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle catching 3.5 points. Are you kidding me? 3.5 points. The over and under 46.5. It should be a great matchup in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh just got embarrassed last week against New England. They had no business being out there on the same field.
Terrible.
They looked
Yeah,
unprepared.
they look bad.
They looked terrible. Big Ben might be staring retirement right into the eyes. I mean, he's close to being done. Give him a reason to quit, and he'll quit. Again, take this game away. Handicap it from you guys. Give me some feedback.
So
Here.
I'm seeing, Steelers getting 3.5 points after I saw them get blown out by the Patriots. I don't like the Steelers at all this year. I'm gonna be honest with you. This offense looks weak. They don't have a run game. They have a good running back in Connor, but they're not running the ball well. Big Ben doesn't look like Big Ben that we've seen in the past.
How about at the tight end position, guys? I mean, they've always been big on the tight end position. Do they have a tight end this year?
Well, they have Vance McDonald, but I don't think he didn't really perform as
The thing
expected.
is, you don't have anyone else to open it up. I mean, you really just have Juju Smith, and you have
Yeah, let's not
McDonald,
forget. You're looking at a Pittsburgh game that's used to having Le'Veon Bell
exactly.
and Antonio Brown.
And Antonio Brown, so they had
and
weapons. Yeah.
Jesse James, the tight end.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that that's been Big Ben's blanket for many, many years.
Correct.
Now that he doesn't have a tight end, or a reliable tight end, we should say, what do they have?
Honestly,
What do they
I
have?
like Nate Washington, the wide receiver. He's a young guy. He's a speedster. But you know what? That's not going to be enough for me. I think the Seahawks are. I can't pass with the Seahawks getting 3.5 points. They did play a close game against the Bengals last week, so I think that's kind of why the spread is looking like that. But I feel like Seattle has what they need in order to win. They got a strong defense, which is probably going to look a lot better. They got more time together. They're going to build some more chemistry, and of course you got Russell Wilson. I'm taking the Seahawks plus 3.5.
Yeah, I take the Seahawks plus 3.5. I think that's the safest pick to go with. Last week it was 21-20, the final score against the Bengals. But when you really look at the game again, the Seahawks had a hard time getting first downs and converting, and so I think that they will for sure turn that around this week against the Steelers. Even though they will be away, I just don't see the Steelers putting up more than 3 points like they did last week. Like you said, they don't have the weapons they did before in the past. This week is just Juju. And last week we kind of saw that it was kind of hard for Juju to be the number one receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. This is one game that I don't like. I'm gonna put the rat on the table and just let it out as it is. And I see a trap game in this game. I think the handicappers here want you to take Seattle. Those 3.5 points are very, very tempting. Hey, look, Russell Wilson's no slouch. He's a good quarterback, very mobile, very accurate, and I don't know. They're playing in Pittsburgh though. 3.5 points. I feel like this line is screaming for you to take Seattle under points, but Pittsburgh just got embarrassed. And if they want to keep track in their division, they're going to have to win this game at home. There's no other way to see it. If they lose this game, they might as well stick a fork in them because they're done. I just don't see them making the playoffs if they start 0-2. With that said, I'm not going to touch a side or an over and under on this game. 3.5 points, it's not enough for me to take Seattle. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it may come down to a field goal. And if that's the case, then if you're taking Seattle on this card, you may win by 0.5 point. But to me, it's not worth the risk. I see a lot of other more interesting games on the card. I'm not going to touch this one, so I'm going to pass this one up. Moving right along, guys. So now we have
pick something. Yeah, we're picking something on every.
Yeah,
some
so if you would have
You gotta
picked
pick over
something,
under or
yeah.
something.
all right. If I must pick
Something.
something, I'm going to go with the over. I do see this one as being a bit of a shootout. I think the over will be a suitable pick for this game. 46.5. And again, I don't feel very strongly about that pick.
Yep.
I'm being forced to pick a pick
Yeah,
here, and
exactly.
that's fine. We're gonna go with the over 46.5. You can put that in the books. Moving right along. Now we have Cincinnati at home playing the San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco's catching 1.5 points on the road. Over and under 44.5. Take it away, Armando.
This is a tricky game right here because I'm kind of torn between both teams. I didn't really like what I saw from the Niners last week against the weak Buccaneers team. They really struggled against them. I feel like I did see the Bengals play a tough game against a respectable opponent in Seattle. This is one of those games where I think I'm gonna have to just go ahead and I wouldn't really touch it, but if I'm gonna have to touch a team or touch a side on this, I'm gonna go with the over. I feel like that's the safest bet. I feel like Andy Dalton can put up points. We saw him last week with his new offense, and he did very well against, like I said, a really good Seattle defense. I see the over in this game. That's pretty much all I gotta say. I don't like this game too much, but if I'm picking a side, I pick the over.
This game is very tricky to go with. I don't like either team. Both teams are pretty injured. We already know A.J. Green for the Bengals isn't playing. Joe Mixon is day-to-day. He didn't practice today in practice. For the Niners, they have Tevin Coleman, who got hurt. And, Nick Bosa, he's still, recovering from his ankle. Even though he played on Sunday, he also didn't practice today as well. So that's a big part in the Niners defense. So if I were to pick a team or over-under, honestly, I might just go under 44.5.
Yeah,
I don't think both teams have a lot of health.
Yeah, they have health injuries. You're right. San Francisco lost their running back, and their quarterback did not play stellar last week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I agree. I think this is a tricky play. I don't have much to say about these two shady teams. I think they're both trash. I think San Francisco's a farce. I think they're going to take a lot of people's money this year. They're going to cause people to lose a lot of money on them. I'm not buying what they're selling, and I'm going to go ahead and take. I'm going to take Cincinnati at home. If I'm only given 1.5 point, I think they can beat them outright. I will take the Bengals at home in a snooze fest, and I see this as a low-scoring game. I don't have a say-so in the under and over, but I'll take Cincinnati, and I'll give away 1.5. Green Bay Packers at home against the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are catching 2.5 points, over and under 45.5. Let's go.
Ooh, all right. I feel like the Packers are getting a lot of hype right now. A lot of hype. Everyone's, riding the Packers, especially after beating the Bears. They shut them down. I'm not gonna lie. Their defense looked really good, but at the same time, from what I saw last week with the Vikings, even though they did play against a weak Falcons team, they ran the ball extremely well, and they didn't ask Cousins to do too much. That's what you gotta do in order to win. This Gary Kubiak offense. I like it a lot, and I see an upset. I see the upset here. I see the Vikings actually winning this game. I don't really care about the points. I'm just taking the Vikings straight up if I had to pick a team. I see them running the ball.
You would take this game as a money line pick?
I would take a money line pick.
Wow, that's
one.
a big balls bet right there. Big balls bet.
Exactly,
Big ball
bet.
bet.
It has to be like that. This is the phenom. Just remember that. Also, like I'm saying, the Vikings, they're just going to run it down their throats. I just see, Dalvin Cook putting up major yards in this Kubiak offense. And, the Vikings, don't forget about their defense. They have a really solid defense, And from what I saw from Rodgers last week, he didn't play all too well. So like I said, I'm taking the Vikings.
I think for me, this is a hard game to pick just because of past history of how they played, especially last year. Last year, they ended in 29-29. Overtime, they ended in a tie. Then they played them again, 24-17. Vikings win. So I think it's for sure like, one
Let's not
year
forget, let's
one
not
year
forget
Packers
some of those
win.
games were without Aaron Rodgers.
Very true.
That's
That
true
boy was
too.
out. Let's not forget that.
That's true too,
Let's
yeah.
not forget that. Keep that in mind. Again, this is the bookie killer talking. I know my stuff. But go ahead, continue.
But I honestly, I like the Packers. What I saw last week, even though their offense wasn't clicking yet, I think they can get that and turn that around. They have too good of an offense to. Well, I'm not to say too good of an offense, but they do have some depth in that can put up a lot of points. And I think they could beat the Vikings this week.
All right. So we have one taking the Packers. We have one taking the Vikings. Armando sees value in Minnesota as an underdog. He likes them straight up. He says, fuck the points. You can shove them up your bookie's ass. I'm not all for that. I'm not buying Minnesota yet. Minnesota and Zimmerman and his boys have made me a lot of money, but when they're at home, they're a good team to take when they're at home. On the road, I know Rodgers looked pedestrian last week, but let's not forget they were playing a very stout defense in Chicago. Okay, I am going to have to disagree with Armando's pick on this one. I think this is one that stands out to me. This is one of my main picks. This is a pick that I really, really like. And I'm going to take Green Bay at 2.5 is a bargain.
Yeah,
Take it. Take it. I'm not going to say they're going to blow them out or it's going to be one of those games that it's over at halftime, but you're going to be cashing in your ticket at the end of the night. And that's what we're about, cashing that money, getting that cheddar. I like Green Bay. Give me the Packers at home.
Also, if
2.5.
when you look back from 2018, the one I just said, they ended in a tie, and the Vikings won. Look at 2017, the Vikings won both games he played against the Packers. So I think the Packers are in need for a win this week, especially against the Vikings. So
yeah, I like Green Bay. I'm gonna take Green Bay and give away the 2.5, and that's one game that I really truly like. And now we're gonna move on to the Chiefs versus the motherfucking Raiders.
The Raiders.
All right, so the Raiders are at home. They're catching 9.5. Again, do your homework, guys. If you guys are betting big money on these games, you can catch Oakland for some books have them at 7, some have them at 7.5. On this card, you're getting great value. If you like Oakland at home, you're catching 9.5 points. 9.5 points. Okay, that's a lot of points. And the over and under will be 53.5. It's set at 53.5. Armando, give me your thoughts on this game. Break it down for me.
Oof. 9.5 points. It's a lot of points. You know what? I'm taking the Raiders. All right. The reason why I'm taking the Raiders, there's a couple of reasons actually. So I'm gonna start off with the Raiders' offense. I liked what I saw from them last week. They had that quick pass game going, and they kept the rush off him. That kept Derek Carr clean. And Josh Jacobs, you can't underestimate that guy. He's a really good running back. He's a rookie. He's only going to get better. The Chiefs, they put up a lot of points, and they can cover that point spread very easily if Mahomes is fully healthy. Last week, not a lot of people paid attention, but when Mahomes went down with that ankle, he wasn't really the same after that. I know he didn't throw the ball too much, but he looked a little hurt out there.
You think he looked a little gun shy?
He looked a little not gun shy. He didn't look like
the fucking kid's a slinger, man.
Yeah,
he can sling it.
But he wasn't moving outside the pocket or anything. That's where his game is really elevated compared to everybody else. He's really good on the run and stuff. So I'm taking the Raiders at home. Again, they're coming off a big victory on Monday night. I just see them covering that. They're not going to win, but they're going to cover that point spread right there.
So honestly, I don't know. I think for me, I wouldn't touch this game. The Raiders are injured. Gabe Jackson won't be playing today or this week. Jonathan Abram last night we just found out he's out for the season. Conley's out. Although the Chiefs are also injured with Tyreek Hill not playing and Mahomes spraining his ankle last week, even though Mahomes did have a full practice today. He did say that his swelling is going down, but it's still day to day, so that could always change. But if I am gonna pick a game, I am gonna go. I might just go with the over because like Mondo said, the offense for the Raiders last week was it surprised me. and I'm the Raider fan, so it surprised me. I didn't think we would score a lot against especially a defense like Denver, but we did. And I think that especially with the injuries that we are having right now, I think they have to overcome those injuries and still go out there and try to win for these players that are hurt.
Well, I think Oakland came out inspired on Monday Night Football and played a hell of a game, probably their best game of the season that they're going to be able to play against the Denver Broncos. They just came out and they played them well. They were playing chess while the Broncos were playing checkers. Bottom line, Derek Carr was getting the ball, quick out of his hands.
He looked good. He
looked
looked good last
There
week
was
too.
no time for Denver to apply the pressure onto him. With that said, I'm not a big believer in the Raiders. I know that you're catching 9.5 points, and that's a shitload of points. Kansas City can cover that number if they want to. Let's not forget the Cheetah's not playing. Tyreek Hill will be out 4 to 6 weeks.
It's a divisional game too.
It's a divisional game.
Yeah.
You know what? It's one of those games that is tempting to pick the Raiders. The over and under is too high of a number for me. If I could take a pass on this game altogether, I would. But I already know the guys are going to make me, make a pick here, make a move.
Yep.
I'm going to have to go with the over. I think both defenses are kind of shady, and they will give up the points. Kansas City's got weapons galore.
Yeah,
the Raiders, they're not a bad team. They can put up points themselves, especially at home. They will try not to get embarrassed, and I think that will drive that number over the 53.5 mark. So put me down for the over on that game.
Me too, on that
All
one.
right.
That's your pick then, Joe? You're not taking that. You're not taking a side.
No, I'm taking the
okay.
over
Nice.
53.5.
You took.
I took the
You
Raiders.
took the
Yeah,
side.
I
You
took the
took the
Raiders.
side.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're going to go ahead and discuss the Los Angeles Rams against the New Orleans Saints. The Saints will be on the road.
Juicy.
And they are
Juicy.
and they
These
are
are
catching
juicy.
3.5 games. Let's not forget, this is the game that just last year knocked the Saints out of the fucking Super Bowl. Okay, guys? So this is a revenge factor.
Mhm.
This is a game that's been marked down on their calendars for, pretty much the whole
Since
year.
the schedule came out, yeah.
New Orleans wants payback. The Rams wants to prove that, that they, hey, look, it wasn't a fluke. We can beat these guys. Take it away, guys. Break it down for me.
All right, I'm gonna give you guys double golden nuggets on this one. I'm taking 2 picks on this game. I love this game. This matchup is one that I was looking at as soon as this card came out. 3.5 points. I'm taking the Saints. I see the Saints coming into LA, and they're gonna put a whooping on those Rams. They're gonna win. They don't need the points. They're gonna win. I see Drew Brees in that offense just going off on the Rams. The Rams, they're going to put up a lot of points as well. And that's also why I'm going to take the over. I'm taking the over 53.5, and I'm taking the Saints, and they're going to get their revenge.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm 100% agree with on that one. I like the Saints plus 3.5. Like you said, they had this game marked down their calendar since the schedule came out. I think they're ready to play the Rams, especially this early in the year. They're healthy, so they're ready to give them everything they got. The over, I think they will go over 53.5. I think both teams have great offenses and they can just score whenever they like. So I think it is a 53.5 and go with the Saints.
So you're taking 2 picks on this game?
Correct.
You're taking the Saints plus 3.5?
And the over 3.5.
Well, let's do it this way. Let's do it this way.
Let's just do one pick.
Let's say
Well, yeah,
let's
just
take
do
We
one-
don't want to
if
confuse
we're
our
taking
listeners.
if we're taking one pick, I'm just taking the Saints plus 3.5.
Joe?
I'll probably take the over 53.5.
So you're laying off the side now. Okay.
Yeah.
Very, very. Okay, you
Yeah.
guys changed the tune on me now. Okay, that's fine. I
Yeah.
can play that game. This game, 3.5 points. 3.5 points. I can see how it's tempting for you guys to go ahead and jump on Drew Brees nuts and say, hey, man, Drew Brees is going to light him up, blah, blah, blah. Revenge factor.
Yeah.
Bottom line is, there's no such thing as revenge games in the NFL. They're all professionals. They all get paid very, very handsomely. I'll be honest. Jared Goff has not looked impressive at all so far this year. He got a big contract, so this may be a letdown year for him. But if you take away the Saints from their home field advantage, let's not forget they play in a dome. That defense is built to run fast on artificial turf, not on real grass. They're playing at L.A. Again, L.A. doesn't have a big home field advantage, but they do have weapons. They do have weapons, and I do expect them to get sharper and better as the weeks go by. I'm going to take the Rams. I think 3.5 points is very doable for this Rams offense.
Yeah,
to
very
cover.
doable, yeah.
I like the over and under as well. I kind of lean towards the over, but I'm not going to make a move on that line. I'll take the Rams. Give me 3.5.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Give me
pretty
3.5 and a healthy Todd Gurley, and I'll take the Rams. So I'm gonna move with the Rams again. Now another juicy matchup,
good.
guys.
The Bears and the
We
Donkeys.
have the Chicago Bears traveling now to Denver, the Mile High City. All right. So we have Denver. Check this out. Denver underdogs at home. When do you ever see that on a ticket? When? And when you do, usually logic tells you, football gods tell you, make that pick. Make that pick. So Denver, 1.5. They're catching 1.5 points at home. Again, I repeat, I know some of the listeners may not be believing what they're hearing, but Denver is catching 1.5 points at home against the Chicago Bears, who looked like a pedestrian last week on their offense against the Packers. And the over and under will be 40.5. Break it down, Armando. Break it down.
All right off the bat, I'm gonna just say it straight up. I'm taking Denver. This is more so not so much about what the Bears are not doing, but more so about what the Broncos are in September at home. You guys say at home because it is Mile High. I just
I believe the altitude will be a factor in this game.
It will be.
I think it will be.
It's going to be a hot game too. So the heat and the altitude don't mix well for teams coming in. I just see the Broncos playing a lot better of a game. They did start playing a little bit better last week at the second half of the game. The offense started clicking a little bit more. Like I said, I think they just have they're going to have more time to build some chemistry. I think that's what was lacking against Oakland. It's new offense, new everything, new team, new coach, new quarterback. The Bears didn't look too impressive last week too.
No,
they did not look too impressive.
No, they did not.
I think the Broncos are going to play a lot better defense, but I also think the Bears they're not going to let it go easy. But the Broncos will win the game in my opinion. And if I had to pick something on this one for sure, it's going to be the under actually. 40.5. This
man read my mind.
Really
this man read my
number.
mind.
But that's my lock for this game. It has to be the under. It has to be.
Yeah.
I just don't see any team putting up too many points from what I saw from Joe Flacco and the offense. They didn't put too much points. The Bears obviously they looked bad. So and they both have very good defenses. So I see the under all day on this game.
Yeah, I agree with the under 40.5. The Broncos do play pretty good at home. They play good defense at home because the offense, they haven't had a good offense in quite a long time now. The Bears, they looked very bad against the Packers last week. Their offense was just very bad. Even though their defense stepped up a lot, I would assume this will be a defensive game again, like we saw last week. So I would for sure go the under 40.5.
Wow. Well, just to give you guys a heads up, the line's already moved at the casino. Again, Denver opened up, catching 1.5 point on our cards.
Wow.
Last couple days, 2 days ago, Denver was catching 2.5 at another sports book. Bovada Vegas has him at -3. Wow. If you give Denver 3 points at home,
+3 Denver.
I'm sorry, Denver +3. To me, it's like battle of the retards.
Yeah.
Battle of the retards.
That's a lot.
Right?
Yeah.
So you have
I wouldn't go with
two
that.
very incompetent offenses going at it, against each other. Two very stout defenses. You got to go with the home team.
Home
Here.
field advantage.
You have got to go with the home team, and I'm not speaking as a homer. Everybody knows I'm a Denver Bronco fan, but I just got to go with the home team. Again, I'm big on trends. I'm big on history. I think Denver, September, at home, especially on opening day, they can have a shitty season. They can only win 3 or 4 games.
They're going to win 2
They'll
September,
come out
though.
lights out and give their fans something to cheer about opening game. I'm going to take the Denver Broncos. And you know what? If you're at a casino and you can bet, or you can bet against your bookie, why don't you shove a fucking hot dog up your bookie's ass and take Denver money line, take it straight up.
I can't take that one.
All right, I like Denver. I like Denver. Take the points. I have no say so on the over or under. I can see it go either way. It's a very low number, 40 points and a half.
Very low, yeah.
It's
No,
nothing.
yeah, I'm not picking a team going.
But I'll go with the Denver Broncos in the altitude, mile high 80s,
Yeah.
opening game. Give me Denver. All right, guys. So now we're going to
Sunday
move
night
on to the
football.
Sunday night football. We have the Philadelphia Eagles against the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta's at home. And Atlanta, surprisingly, just like Denver, they're catching points at home. They're catching 1.5. Over and under 51.5. I don't know what to make out of this game. You have Matt Skid, Mark Ryan going against fucking, Carson Wentz. Go ahead, break it down, guys. Give me your feedback. What do you guys think?
This is an easy pick for me. Easy pick. I'm taking the Eagles all day. I did take the Falcons last week against the Vikings, and I regret that so much. From what I saw, the
Yeah.
Falcons showed me nothing on defense or on offense. They looked a mess out there. I was a bit worried last week when the Eagles started playing against the Redskins. They started off very, very slow. I was about having thrown the towel, but they turned it up, and the offense started clicking. They got Deshaun Jackson involved. I see the Eagles, just winning this game by double digits. I just don't see this being close. I think this number is very off. I take the Eagles.
Yeah, I'm taking the Eagles too. Although last week they did kind of start off a little slow against the Redskins, they made Case Keenum look like the Vikings Case Keenum, but the Eagles did turn that around and they scored a lot of points last week too against the Redskins and got the victory. So I would take the Eagles. Falcons I didn't see a lot from the Falcons especially from Matt Ryan or anybody on that team. So I would take the Eagles, and especially like Mando said, Deshaun Jackson's back, so now there's more weapons on that team. Though more people you got to look out after. So.
All right, this is one of the games that, like I was saying before, I don't want to make a move on. I don't like neither team. Atlanta is trash at home or on the road. Doesn't matter. They're trash. Philadelphia, I'm not a big believer in yet. I think Carson Wentz is still trying to shake off some of that rust, trying to get back into the groove of things. The over and under 51.5, I think is a bit high. I kind of lean towards the under.
51, yeah.
Again,
I think it would go under.
I really,
correct.
really want to pass this game up. I don't want to touch it, but I know the guys are going to make me, throw a pick out there. Again, guys, do not bet money on this game. Stay away from this game. But I'm going to make a move on this game just for the hell of it. I'm going to go ahead and take the under 51.5. They'll find a way to keep it low-scoring game, and that's all I have to say about this game. Not very much, as you can see. I'm not very excited about this matchup. And now we're going to move on to the primetime Monday night game football.
Monday night.
Cleveland traveling out to New York. They'll be taking on the Jets. The Jets at home. What is going on with these road games? With these home teams catching points. The Jets are catching 2.5 points against the Cleveland Browns. The over and under will be 46.5. Guys, tell me what you guys think about this game. This is one of those games that I also want to pass.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you. This is an ugly game. I don't know. Wow, everyone was hopping on the Browns, and I'm not gonna lie,
A lot of hype.
They have a lot of talent,
hype.
but I don't know if they don't have the chemistry yet or what's going on. Baker didn't look like Baker from last year. This game, I'm not picking a side because at the same time, I don't like the Jets at all. They did not show me anything last week. They blew their lead. I don't know. I'm gonna have to pick the under on this game, 46.5. I think that's a pretty high total, and I don't see either team putting up too many points. The Browns have a very good defense. The Jets, are no pushover as well. I just see this being under all day.
Yeah, I don't like this game at all. The Browns, they disappointed me last week. I didn't like how they performed.
Shit, I think Cleveland disappointed me
I think
week, period. And I was not sold on them. I told you guys. I was not sold on that team. I told you guys to take Tennessee. But, again, it's easier said.
I would have took Tennessee for the points. But
and now let's not forget this, too, Joey. I don't mean to interrupt you. But now we have our card at 2.5 points. So the Jets are catching 2.5. Right now at the casino, you can get a bargain. You can take the New York Jets +3. Even number. +3. What are your thoughts on that game, Joe?
You know what?
Make a big balls move, man.
I might have to. I would take the Jets. They did a little bit towards the fourth quarter. Bell got involved and they did score. The Jets also just got Demaryius Thomas. I don't know if
C.J. Mosley's not playing, by the way. Just want you to be aware of that, okay?
Yeah, and he did dominate last week.
The minute he left that game against Buffalo.
Yeah, it turned around. Yep. But I don't know if is Thomas eligible for this week. He just got traded from the Patriots from there, but
I don't think so. Well, yeah, because
I think
he got traded early.
Inua from the Jets got hurt, so I think they will get Thomas involved a lot. But then again, you're talking about the Browns. They surprised us a lot last year too.
I'm going to tell you one thing, and I'm going to spend not a whole lot of time because we don't have a whole lot of time to spend on this game. But I do see your point, Joe, and I like that point that you're making. Demaryius Thomas, I think he can be a factor on this offense.
I do too.
New York Giants, they don't have a wide receiver. And although Thomas is not what he used to be years ago, he's still not completely washed up. Don't underestimate the guy. He knows how to get open. He's lost a step or two, but he can still play football.
Correct.
I like beast Demaryius Thomas. Go ahead. So make your move on this game.
But the Browns, they do have a lot of young talent. They have Odell, and I think for sure he's gonna try to lead that team
It's hard
to
pick
turn
this.
around. So it is hard to pick, but if I am picking one, I'm stuck with I'm picking a team for sure. I'm just don't know if it's the Jets or Browns, but I think I'll just go with the Browns just because, like you said, Mosley is out and he did help the Jets defense a lot last week.
And they're just too good on paper, man. If you're
Yeah,
picking a side,
they're
you
too
gotta
good on
go with the
paper.
Browns. You gotta go with the Browns.
All right, this is one of those picks where, again, I hate to be put in this position. I hate to make picks because you have to make a prediction. I wish I could pass on a lot of these games. Trust me, guys, my record is fucking impeccable against the spread,
Correct.
a.k.a. the Bookie Killer, El Scorcho.
El
I can get you paid, but I don't like this. I don't like this game. I think it's a trap game. I think the odds makers want you to take the Jets and points at home. Cleveland, behind all that hype, they choked. They fucking choked. I see them choking a lot throughout the year. I don't think they're going to be able to stand up and play to that, live up to their expectations. With that said, I'm not going to have a move on the under or on the over. It could go either way. If I have to take something, give me New York at home and the points, 2.5. I'll take the Jets.
Nice.
All right, guys. So now we're going to go ahead and move into the last part of our segment here. Our blue chip pick of the week. Joe, kick it away with your blue chip of the week.
Out of all 15 games and we just went over.
Oh, by the way, the blue chip pick of the week is that one pick you wait for the whole fucking podcast to put some money down.
Yes.
Anybody out there putting money down on these games?
Anyone who stayed to the end, this is the part you want to look at.
Whether you're putting money against the bookie, against the casino, we're trying to get you. We're trying to get you paid. We're not here. It's not me against Armando, Joey against Armando, me against Joe.
Yeah.
It's us against the bookie. Let's break that bookie's ass and get you guys paid out there, all right? At the end of the day, that's what you guys listen to this podcast for, to make some money, get some fucking golden nuggets. Let's go out there and get this fucking show.
There it is right
all right,
there.
Go ahead, Joe.
So my for sure pick, I'm going with the Chargers. The Chargers is probably your best pick to go with against the Lions. And yeah, you're away, but you know what? That Chargers team is too good. That Lions team is not that impressive. So my for sure pick would be the Los Angeles.
Give the spread.
Los Angeles Chargers. It will be the Chargers are minus 2.5, and yeah.
I want to comment on that pick. That's a beautiful pick, Joe. That's a beautiful pick. I like that pick.
I want to come on that pick too because that was going to be my blue chip. That was my number one pick.
You guys
we should agree. Yeah.
If you're putting money on any games this weekend, you have to take the Chargers. I don't see them losing this game at all. I see them covering it like a blanket. This is an easy game for Phillip Rivers and the Chargers. I can't get over this matchup. This is already circled on my card. This is a for sure lock.
All right. Well,
El Storcho, you're up.
Hey, the Scorcho's up, and please put those kids away. Hide the women, because I'm coming out firing like a motherfucker. You hear me? I'm not holding punches back. I'm letting it go. And guys, the money is so fucking simple. If you guys don't see it, you guys are fucking blind. All right? This game should be over by the third quarter. Take the Colts. Take those 3.5 points and run with that money. Tennessee is nothing. There will always be nothing. Give me Tennessee. Give me Indianapolis. The Colts on the road. Give me those 3.5 points. I'm taking the money. Again, I'm not here to try to look cute or try to get hits on this podcast. I'm here to tell you how to get paid.
Exactly.
Take Indianapolis. Don't be a fucking dumbass. Take Indy and let's roll. See you guys next week.
See you next week. So thank you for joining for the Sports Words podcast. We will see you guys next Wednesday and every other Wednesday. And hope you guys enjoyed. Comment, subscribe, and stay tuned.
And like I always say, guys, don't let the players be the only ones to get paid. Get your shit.
Yeah. You heard it here first.